Let's take a look at what problems that involve using the Pythagorean theorem. First, we're going to review the Pythagorean theorem, and then we'll go ahead to solve what problems using the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem states that for any right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the other two sides of a right triangle. And in this case, c squared is equal to the sum of a squared and b squared. Let's take a look at this example. A sports field is a rectangle 24 yards wide and 32 yards long. The coach asks a player to run from one corner to the other corner diagonally across. What distance will the player run? The first thing we're going to do is to try to draw it out. So we got a rectangle. We have a rectangle, and safe to say each angle is 90 degrees, and it's 24 yards by 32, and we need a diagonal. Okay, so this is also 24 yards, and we're trying to find the distance. So by Pythagorean theorem, d squared is equal to 24 squared plus 32 squared, which is 576 plus 1024, which is going to give us 1600. So d squared is 1600. To get the value of d, you want to take a square root of both sides. So d is 40 yards. So the player runs 40 yards when the player runs across the field. How far from the base of a house do you need to put a 20-foot ladder so it reaches the top of a 16-foot wall? So we got a 20-foot ladder right there. This is 20-foot ladder, and the wall is 16 foot. So we're gonna draw a triangle, and we need to find this distance. Safe to say that this is should be a right triangle, and we want to find the value of d. So in this case, we have Pythagorean theorem. 20 squared equal to 16 squared plus d squared. So 400 is 256 plus d squared. So we subtract 256 from both sides of the equation. 144 is equal to d squared. We want to take the square root of both sides, and we have 12 is d. So we have d is 12 foot. So we need to place the ladder 12 foot from the building. The diagonal of a rectangle is 41 centimeters. If the length is 40 centimeters, what is the width? So we got another rectangle. Got a rectangle here. We need to, the diagonal of this rectangle is 41 centimeters. And the length is 40 centimeters. We want to find out the width. So this is a rectangle. We apply Pythagorean theorem. So 41 squared is equal to 40 squared plus w squared. 1681 equal to 1600 plus w squared. Let's subtract 1600 from both sides. We have 81 is w squared. And we take the square root of both sides. 9 equal to w. So the width is 9 centimeters. Brian drives to school several times a month. After leaving his home, he travels 24 miles south and 7 miles east. How far is his school from his home? So he travels 24 miles south, so 24 miles south and then 7 miles east. So we want to find this distance right here. So we have 24 miles, we have 7 miles. We want to find the distance from, let's call this home, and this is school. So we want to find this distance, call this length here. So L squared is equal to 24 squared plus 7 squared. This is 576 plus 49, which is 625. So L squared is 625. We want to find out the length of that distance, or the length from home to school. So L is equal to 25 miles. So Brian travels 25 miles from his home to school.